Class.
Yes.
All right, today we're working on lesson 1 and also lesson 2. We'll get there in just a little bit. We are going to be gaining an understanding of the term ratio. So say this with me. I can gain an understanding of the term ratio. Okay, now when there's a capital letter, I want you to do this with your arms because it's a capital what? Okay, when you see ratio, and when we say it, we're going to underline it with our hand. Make an underline. Why? Because it's underlined. Why do you think it's underlined? It's very what? Important. And that's about our lesson today. Anytime we have punctuation, that's a period, we go, er. Can you do that? Because a period means to
Stop.
and it's a 1 second. We're not dragging it out about to have a wreck. We're not going, no. Okay? You ready? 1 second, You ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Give yourself a 10-finger woo. Woo! All right. So, here we go. 1, 2, 3. I can gain an understanding of the term ratio. Perfect! Good job! All right, moving on. So on your paper, this is what it should look like. Introduction to ratios. And we wrote down our standard. Trying to figure this out, so be patient with me. We wrote on our paper 6.RP.1. Oopsies. There we go. So remember, 6.RP.1 stands for 6th grade ratios and proportions number what?
1.
All right, good job. And that is telling your teacher what you have to know for your state test coming up, okay? And you'll see the same stuff again in 7th and what grade?
8.
Good job. All right, so our vocabulary. Our main vocabulary word today is ratios, and it's a comparison of two quantities. So I do.
You do. I do.
We do. Good job. I do.
You do.
Good job. Now, if you're not able to write right now, when will you do it? With your grown up. Get it? Got it?
Good.
And you know who you are. Get it? Got it?
Good.
All right. So guided notes. Ratios can be part to part. So that's one thing they can be. They can be part to part. Then they can be part to whole, or, and we need to put a comma here, or they can be whole to part. And I know that's a little confusing right now, because do we even know what we're talking about yet? No, just write it down. Get it? Got it? Okay. There are 3 ways to write ratios. You can write it as a fraction. And what did we learn last week about fractions, or just reviewed last week from 5th and 4th grade? Simplifying fractions. Okay, we did that. Also, we learned that fractions are also called what operation? Division. Okay, all right. And then we can use the word to. And finally, we can use a punctuation mark called a colon. Have you ever heard of a colon before? Punctuation looks a little bit like that. So give me a thumbs up once you have that written, because it's very important to pay attention here. All right, so when we look at 3, the ratio of A to B can be written as, and it wants you to write it all 3 ways. Now, why do you think they've used A to B? Have you ever seen letters in math? Yeah? When you were in elementary, lower elementary, they used shapes. once you got to 3rd and 4th grade, they started sticking these letters in there, and their favorites are X and Y. Okay. Some other favorite letters that they like to use is M. Okay. Have y'all seen any letters that they like to use? Okay. Those are called unknown variables. What are the letters called? Unknown variables. Okay. And what that means is an unknown number. Do we know the number? No. But guess what? I'm going to go ahead and come up with a story. Okay? Earlier I said something about 2 cats and 3 dogs. You remember that from earlier at math wall, the focus wall? Okay. So write that down. 2 cats. 3 dogs. What are cats and dogs? They're animals. What's the total amount of animals that I have here? 5. So we have 2 cats, we have 3 dogs. The total amount is 5. Okay? What this is in relation to math, 2 cats is a part. What do you think 3 dogs will be? A part. And then 5 animals. What do you think it will be? A whole. Now, what's another word for whole that you heard me say just a second ago? I asked you to find the total, right? Okay, so sometimes you'll hear me say total instead of whole. And whole and total mean the exact same thing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Another way we could say this is we found the sum of our 2 parts, right? Sum means to add. Good job. All right. So we are going to write it with numbers first because I think it will be easier for you to recognize this with actual numbers instead of A and B. Okay? I want to write a ratio, just part to part. What are my 2 parts? 2 cats and 3 dogs. 2 cats and 3 what? Okay. So 2 cats and 3 dogs. I'm doing a part to part first. The main way that you see ratios is with a colon. Can you make a colon with your hand? Good job. So usually we see it as a what? Colon. Like this, okay? Now, that's the first way we write it, okay? Next is we have a numerator and a, what do you think is going to go on the numerator by the order that we wrote it? 2. Numerator goes up top, and our colon is also representing a fraction bar, which is also called division. Okay, and then what do you think our denominator is going to be?
3.
Okay, then, so we have 2 to 3 written with a colon. We have it written as a fraction. So guess what this fraction is called? Any fraction with ratios is called the value of, what's our vocabulary? Value of a?
Ratio.
So a fraction is always the value of a ratio. Okay? So a fraction, mere words. A fraction is the value of a ratio. Mirrors off. All right. So we wrote it as a colon. Then we wrote it as a fraction. And now what's the last one do you see that we're going to write? What were the different ways to write it? We wrote it as a fraction. We wrote it as a colon. And then what do you see in quotation marks? I said that right? Right? Yeah, I had a moment. 2. We write it in word form. Here we go. 2, 2, 3. So we just discussed ratio language. We just discussed ratio language for part to part. Where did I get part to part from? 2 cats and 3 dogs. So, 2 cats and 3 dogs was part to part. I want to practice one where it's, we just did part to part. Now I want to practice one part to whole. Okay? So, part to whole. Pick a part. Any part. 2. Okay? What's the 2 represent? 2 cats, right? So we pick that one. But what is my whole? 5. Okay? So I just did a part to whole. So 2 to 5. What would be my value of the ratio? Written as a fraction. And how do we say it? 2/5. Or we can say 2 to 5. Or we could say 2 out of. You hear how we can say some ratios? 2 out of 5, 2 to 5, 2 over 5. Okay? Then we are going to have the word form 2 to 5. What's our last ratio comparison that we could write? Really, you could have more than this, but whole to part, one that we have listed. Okay, and over here, instead of doing 2 to 5, we could have chose 3 to 5, right? Okay, so I just want to make sure you understand that. But now I want to do whole to part. Okay, so our whole would then go first. Let's pick a different part instead of 2 cats. 3 dogs. All right. So how would I write that as a fraction? 5/3. Order matters. You'll hear me in ratio say order what?
Matters.
Whatever they say first, that's what you write. Well, we just said 5 animals to 3 what? 3. You're still cool. 3 what? Dogs. So this will be 5/3. And that is called a value of a what?
Ratio.
So 5 to 3. I do?
You do.
Okay. Now if you ran out of room, just make sure you understand that fractions are a value of a ratio, which can be written as a. Good job, y'all. Now, did we write it using these unknown variables? Did we write it using A and B? No, I actually gave y'all a scenario. Okay? Now, going over here to our next problem, we are going to practice. In class, there are 12 girls and 11 boys. Write each ratio 3 ways. We're just practicing on these, how to write the what? Ratios. But before we begin, I want you to make a ratio table. What's it called? Oopsies. My bad. I got to get back in the flow of things. All right, so this is a ratio what? Table. Okay? The reason why I gave it 3 parts is we have girls, we have boys, and then we have a total amount. So I'm going to put the letter T. So I have girls, I have boys, and the total amount. And this is something you're going to do every single time to make sure you understand part, part, and whole. Part, part, and total. Okay? How many girls did I have?
2.
How many boys did I have?
11.
And you can use your calculator if you have to double check your work. How do I find the total? Add it. Everybody add it right now in your calculator. Right now, everybody add it in your what?
Calculator.
12 plus 11. Do we all agree? Good job. Okay, so 12, 11, 23 is what I have written, and make sure you put that correctly there, because if you don't, you'll mess up your ratio when you write it. So what does it say in this order that matters that I have to do first? Girls to what? If it says girls to boys, you have to write it that way. So we're going to write it real quick. First way, I'm going to write it as a true colon. Here we go. 12 to 11. Now write it as a fraction, which is called the value of a ratio. And then I'm going to write it in word form. 12 to 11. And what I mean by word form is not the numbers in word, but the actual meaning of colon. How do we say the colon every single time? 12 to 11. 12 to 11. And then this one is 12 to 11. Now, is that the only way to say ratios? No, but that's what you'll hear constantly. 12 out of 11. 12 over 11. Okay, you could hear it as that because fractions are ratios. Fractions are
Ratio.
Good job. Now, order matters. They changed it. Boys to girls. So now it's going to be 11 to 12. The value of the ratio is written as a good 11 out of 12. And then 11 to 12. Now, did they do anything with the total, with the whole? No, but they could have. They could have said, oh, what's girls to total? And then you would have said 12 to 20. They could have said total to boys. Then you would have said 23 to 11. So let's do it again. Suppose you are at camp. There are 5 counselors and 13 campers in every cabin. Write each ratio 3 ways. Okay? So here we go. My ratio what? Table. It has 2 parts. We have counselors, and I'm going to put CS, and then we have campers. I'm going to put CP for campers. Okay? You could write it out completely, but I'm good with being fast and efficient and writing abbreviations for when I can. So counselors is CS, campers is CP, and then my last one that it doesn't tell you, you just have to know. You have to know that understanding. If it has my part, and then what's my whole? What's my total? And you can put a W for whole, but I like to do total because you'll hear it all the time as part, whole. And you've heard that since kindergarten. Part, what? Whole. Switching it up, part, total. Get it? Got it? So my counselors, there are 5. My campers, there are 13. To find my total, what operation are you going to do? Addition. You're going to add. You're going to find the sum. Okay? When we start getting fast and efficient, and some of us want to start rushing, then we're no longer efficient. You'll end up multiplying. But remember, part, whole. In this scenario, we have to find a sum. We have to add. Okay? And what is that sum?
18.
Okay, so we have 5, 13, 18. Counselors to campers. Counselors to what?
Campers.
That would be 5 to 13. And then it would be 5 over 13. And then that would be 5 to 13. If I ever make a mistake, stop me and let me know that, hey, Miss Jones, I think you made a mistake. You're still what? Cool. And then we'll determine from there. Okay, don't be afraid to say, Miss Jones, I think you made a mistake, because I'm going to make one. In math, we make mistakes. And that's why there's erasers. Do we use pens in math?
No.
Only when you're grading. Okay? All right, so campers to total. Did it ever tell us our total?
No.
No, we just know it because we made a ratio Look at y'all go. What did we make? A ratio? It's our very best friend. Say, hey, ratio table.
Hey, ratio table.
You're my best friend.
You're my best friend.
All right. Campers to total. What's campers? Look back at my table. 13. You're still cool. Good job. 13. What's my total? Woo! And then I need to write it as the fraction, which is the value of a ratio. The value of a ratio is a
Fraction.
yeah. All right, 13 out of 18. Ooh, I need to calm down. Starting to make weird sounds. Y'all heard that? Yeah. What was that? All right. Sorry. I do little dances too. I apologize. All right, there are 3 times as many cashews as almonds. There are 3 times as many cashews as almonds. You haven't seen times as many since 4th grade. Okay? Some of you are like, okay, I know 3 is my number. What's my other number? Anytime you don't have the other number, it's most likely going to be 1. You have 3 times as many cashews. How much is cashews worth?
3.
To almonds. What is almonds going to be? Order matters, okay? Make my ratio what?
Table.
So, I'm going to have some cashews, I'm going to have some almonds, and then I'm going to have a total. It says cat. Anyway, all right, so I have 3 cashews because it says 3 times as many cashews as almonds. This is something that you need to study. That order matters. Is if it says 3 first, that's that first category. What's the first category they mentioned?
Cashews.
Cashews. Times as many, that means what?
1.
This is something you need to study. You will see on a test. Times as many. The other part represents what? 1. Is it going to be the first category that's 1?
No, ma'am.
No, it's going to be the second. And our second was almonds, and we have it listed as 1. Am I done?
No, ma'am.
No, what's my total?
3.
One more time.
4.
Okay. You're so cool. Y'all got this. What y'all do in your head? Multiply it, right? It's fine. You're still cool. It's going to happen. All right. So, do we really, if you've already scanned this, which I know some of you like to work ahead, and that's all right sometimes, but right now I need you to make sure you're focusing. Okay. Here, cashews to almonds, almonds to cashew. Did it ask anything about a total? No, but you're still going to write it in your ratio table. Does that make sense? We're going to want to write it every single time because it will come to a question that it levels up. These are just level 2 questions. When it levels up to a level 3, you only have 3 levels in math. You got the super easy solve in your calculator. Then you have level 2, that's a word problem, but it's easy. These are word problems, but they're what?
Easy.
Then you'll have a level 3 where they're asking about something that they did not tell you. And that's it. Okay? So cashews to almonds. We have 3, 2, 1. I wrote it with the colon. Then I have 3 over 1. I wrote it as a
Fraction.
and then I'm going to have the word form. 3, 2, 1. Almonds to cashews. Almonds to what?
Cashews.
Order matters. 1, 2, 3. 1 over what?
3.
And finally, 1, 2, 3. Now, does everybody understand what you're expected to do on these types of problems like this? Because for homework tonight, if you look at the rest of the page, that 1 through 8, that's your homework. Are you going to have time to do it in class today?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. All right. Now, let's do our last one together so you make sure you're paying attention. You will make a ratio table on each one. If you forget how, guess what you can look back at tonight?
Just paper.
this paper and the, what am I going to post on YouTube? The video. So if you forget, you can fast forward to these 4 problems that we're doing right now to remind yourself what's the order that we do this. Get it? Got it? Okay. So you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
So now I have my ratio table. Write a ratio in 3 ways for each statement. There are 125 students for every 5 teachers. Okay? There are 125 students for every 5 teachers. Okay? Well, what's the total? And you could just put T for total, but did we already have a T? Okay, for teachers, right? Okay, so 125 plus 5 is 130. Go ahead and gonna write that. Here we go. 125 to, what did they say first? Students to what?
Teachers.
And that's how I know. Some of you are like, well, where did for every come from? Guess what, guys? That's another way to say a ratio. Instead of saying 2, we can say for every. Instead of saying 2, we can say for what? Every. And so put a star by that to know, oh, that key language, those keywords mean to write it as a colon or as a fraction or with the word to, and we write it in that order. So now let's write it as a value of a ratio, which is a, there we go, value of a ratio, which is a, one more time, value of a, which is a, all right. And lastly, write it as the word form. Now this is when we get into the real world that you're most likely going to see it. One day you are going to be making recipes. Okay, one day you will make recipes. This is when we start seeing the real world that answers our essential question: how can ratio reasoning be used to solve real world problems? Okay, well this is how we answer that question. The majority of time that you use ratios is when you have recipes. One day you're going to want to cook, okay? You will have to use the recipes, which are ratios. Okay, that's just one way ratios are the real world. Okay, combine 1 part ginger ale to 4 parts fruit punch. Make my ratio table. I have some ginger ale. I have some fruit punch. What's the total? Okay? And my bracelets. I'm putting marks on the board when I write. All right, so my ginger, how much is it? And it used the word to, correct?
Yes.
So that's how I know the order. 4 parts of fruit punch. So 1, 2, 4. What's that total gonna end up being? How many? Usually they say cups. 1 cup of ginger ale to 4 cups of fruit punch. How many cups is in it altogether? 5. Okay, so it asked you ginger ale to fruit punch. We write it in that order. Order matters. And it's going to be 1 to 4. It's going to be 1 over 4. Or you can say 1/4. And then the word form. 1 to 4. So if you see your next problems, 1 through 8, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I'm about to bring it up, but some of us are still writing. It's on that next slide. 1 through 8 is homework. If you will, write HW for what?
Homework.
Homework. And I just want you to write numbers 1 through 4. Are you doing all of that 1 through 8? Just do 1 through what?
4.
I know I said 1 through 8, but let's just do 1 through 4. And if you're not understanding it, what do you think you should do?
And the rest are
Do the rest for extra practice. Get it? Got it? Okay, so I'm going to write that now. If for some reason you didn't get your notes written, you will do it at the end of class. You'll ask your neighbor who writes neatly. Get it? Got it? Okay, so moving on again, this is going to be written as, I forgot to delete it. Here we go. Homework will be 1 through what?
1 through 4.
1 through 4. And then 5 through 8 will be what?
Practice.
Extra practice. I do?
You do.
Alright. So I'm going to delete it. And then we're going to move on. So basically today we are practicing ratios. And we're going to start moving quickly now that we understand what they're asking. We're going to be practicing ratios. And our next lesson will be still working on ratios, and we already got an idea on ratio tables. So do we see this sheet? Now they don't have a table on yours. They don't have a what on yours? So what do you think you're gonna have to do? You're gonna have to draw it out, okay? So this right here, if you want to just put B, oopsies. I gotta remember to hit the eyeball. Alright, so if you want to put B, then you put G, and then we put a T for what? Total. Okay? So we want to be fast and efficient. Fast and okay, and save yourself some time. Okay? Raise your hand if you do not see where you're supposed to be drawing this. Okay? Over to the other side. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next slide now that you know what we're supposed to be writing. Okay, so go ahead and read the co-ed soccer team on your paper. It has 4 times as many boys on it as it has girls. So go ahead and read that for me to yourself. Get it? Got it? So again, I'm going to read it aloud. The co-ed soccer team has 4 times as many boys on it as it has girls. We say the ratio of the number of boys to the numbers of girls on this team is 4 to what? 1. Because we remember just a second ago when I told you 4 times as many. Boys is 4 because it said 4 first, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Times as many means that my other category, what's my other category? Girls would be,
1.
and what's my total amount?
5.
Do we understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is that enough for a soccer team? Is 5, think about soccer, okay? You have 2 forwards, you got 3 midfields, you got 3 defenders, and you have a goalie. Okay? That's what's already on the field. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Is 5 enough for a soccer team? Okay? So what we have to do in this scenario is to create equivalent ratios. Okay? How we do that is we use multiplication. Now you're like, Miss Jones, you just told me we don't use multiplication. We add. You add when you're trying to find the total number of players in this scenario. But to create equivalent ratios, have a flashback to equivalent fractions. To create equivalent ratios, we multiply the numerator and denominator by the same
Number.
That's what we do. Have you done that before?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We've been practicing simplifying. Instead of multiplying, we've been dividing, right? Simplifying is, you're right, is what? Dividing. Simplifying is? Well, if we want to create more instead of trying to simplify, we do the opposite of divide. What do?
Multiply.
Multiply. Okay, so this is how we do it. We multiply. What would be our normal numerator?
4.
What would be our normal denominator? Okay, we multiply both of those by 2. Well, 4 times 2 is 8. If I do it to one number, if I do it to my numerator, I have to do it to my denominator. And we're still talking about a ratio table, okay? So 1 times, what am I going to multiply by?
2.
2 is 2. Have you seen this on Zern before?
Yes.
Yeah. And then 5 times 2 is 10. Some of you are like, oh, well, that's not a numerator or denominator. That's not total. If you do it to the numerator and denominator, you also have to use that same number with the total. Okay?
Yes.
Now, we could go to 8 and multiply it by 2 again. We could. Or we could come back up to 4, which is normally what they do. And what's the next number in number order? What comes after 2? It's not a trick question. Okay. We could use 4.
6.
We got 1, we got 2, and we got...
3.
All right, what's the next number in number order after 2?
3.
3. Y'all are still cool. I promise I'm not trying to give y'all trick questions. You ready? So 4 times 3
It's 12.
is 12. Okay. Am I done?
No,
All right. Now I need to do 1 times what?
3.
So I do it for my top row, multiply it by 3 to get to my third row. Get it? Got it?
Good.
Okay. So it looks a little bit like this. 1 times 3 is
3.
3. 5 times 3 is?
15.
Oof, that time symbol looks a mess. There we go. And then 4 times, what's the next number? You can do any number. You could do 6, you could do 10, you could do 100. To infinity and,
Beyond.
okay? But let's just stick with smaller numbers because it makes it
Easy.
easier. Okay? So 4 times 4 is,
16.
all right. 1 times 4 is, y'all see what we're doing?
Yes, ma'am.
5 times 4 is 20. Now stop, look, and listen at what we've created. Does anybody see any kind of patterns going on anywhere in this table? Leah? Okay, you are counting by 4s in the what column? The boys column, correct? Okay, what are we counting by here in the girls? That's right. And then what are we counting by in the total number of players? 5. So those are some great patterns. Now I want to look just going from boys to girls. Don't look at the total. If you have to cover it on your paper with your hand, that column, you can. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Look at how they're going from 4 to 1, 8 to 2, 12 to 3, 16 to 4. So do y'all see what I'm asking you to do? You go from a big number to a small number, you divide. 4 to 1, what do you divide by? 4. Look at every time you go down. 4 divided by 4 is? 8 divided by 4 is?
2.
12 divided by 4 is?
3.
16 divided by 4 is?
4.
To infinity and?
Beyond.
Okay, that is called ratio relationships. If it's going big to small, you divide. If it goes from small to big, you multiply. Okay? Ratio tables can show multiplication, It can show division. It can show addition when you're trying to find a total. Okay? So, that is what we're learning about. And that's what we're going to be spending time on for the next week. What you see here and being able to answer all the questions about it. Is this hard? No, it's just new language for you. Ratios are fractions. Y'all been doing fractions since 3rd grade. Okay? I'm just now taking fractions away, and instead of saying fractions, what am I saying now? Ratios. How do y'all feel about that?
Good.
Okay? If you're not here, that's okay. I at least want you here. Okay? Almost good. Okay? Alright. So, I'm going to delete that. We're going to do it again. Suppose the ratio of the number of boys to the number of girls on the team is 3-2. What category did they say first? What category did they say first? Boys. What was the next category they said? Girls. They said it in that order. They said it in that what? Boys to. So that means my number order over here, it's 3 boys to 2 what? Girls. Did they say anything? It's 2 parts. It's part to part. Did they say anything about part to whole?
No, ma'am.
No. But do we need to know our whole just in case? Yes. Okay. So we are now, just want to make sure you understand, you should be looking at that second section on that paper. Okay. And we're going to be making a ratio table again. So we're going to create another table to show the possibilities. What are some other team compositions where there are 3 boys for every 2 girls on the team? And if we're thinking about soccer again, is 5 total players enough? No, we already discussed that. And that is why we needed to create equivalent ratios, which are equivalent fractions. Guys, if you say equivalent fractions, you are still correct. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You're right. We just now have to think in our head, oh, if it's equivalent fractions, it's also equivalent ratios. Y'all got it. Look at y'all go. So let's create equivalent ratios. What are some team compositions? What can we compose? What can we make? Think about what we did last time. What did we first multiply by? We didn't do 1 because it would be the same number. 2. 3. Now I'm going to switch something up on you. In Zern, do they use an X for multiplication? What do they use?
Dot.
Can we start using the dot?
Yes.
Okay. 3 times 2 is, and if I multiply by 2 to my numerator, which is boys, then I gotta do it to my denominator, which is girls. 2 times 2 is?
4.
Yeah. Look at y'all. Now, some of you are like, okay, but why do I have to do it? And I said it last time. Why do I have to do it to my total? Well, what if total was an option? What if I said boys to total? You're still going to have to multiply the total by what? 2 to create equivalent. You can say fractions, but equivalent. You multiply the numerator and denominators. Whatever possibility of the numerators and denominators. If it's part to part to whole, whole to part, however they say it, you still multiply the numerator and denominator by 2 or 3 or
5
to infinity and
beyond.
So go ahead and finish this table out. Use small numbers this time, okay? So we'll do times 3 and then we'll do times what? 4. Later on, if you want to go times 1,000,000, you go right ahead, okay? But right now, are we going to do big numbers? Because big numbers is going to create more work and we're going to be fast and efficient. Okay, so you have 1 minute to create your ratio table, equivalent ratio table. yes, you may use your calculator to double check your answers. That's what it's there for. I'm glad you know your facts, but I would rather you double check your work so you don't make simple
Mistakes.
okay. All right, so here we go. Am I finished out with that second row?
No, ma'am.
6 plus 4, or I could say 5 times 2 is 10. Isn't 6 plus 4 10? Because remember, you can add your part and your part to get your whole, or you can multiply each number by 2. But my next row, we chose to multiply by 3. And 3 times 3 is 9. 2 times
3
is,
6.
what's my next?
5 times 3
Is,
15.
help me out. I'm not going to say it. Now, my next one, what do I do?
3 times 4.
3 times 4 is 12. 2 times 4 is 8. 5 times 4 is,
20.
did I say that right? Yes, I did.
ma'am.
I had a moment. My bad. Okay. Now, again, let's talk about what's some patterns here. There's multiple patterns. If I think about columns, my boys are what?
Oh, times
They're skip counting by
3.
my girls.
2.
Skip counting by 2, that column. The total amount of players,
5.
5. Okay? Now, it's hard to kind of see a relationship going across like we discussed earlier. But there is a relationship from, I didn't mean to do that, but there is a relationship going from 3 to 2, 6 to 4, 9 to 6, 12 to 8. There is a relationship there. You go from a big number to a little number. What do we do? What operation? Divide. If you put 3 divided by 2 in your calculator, 3 divided by 2 in your calculator, 3 divided by 2 in your calculator, 3 divided by 2 and your calculator, pick up your calculator, 3 divided by 2. And do you get a whole number? No, you get a decimal. They're dividing by what? 1.5. That's the relationship. Do it to 6. What's 6 divided by 1.5? 4. What's 9 divided by 1.5? 6. What's 12 divided by 1.5? 8. So what's that relationship they're constantly doing from boys to girls? Dividing by 1.5. Okay? We're not really worried about relationships today, but that's what we're learning next and what we'll be practicing next. Okay?
Yes.
But I am going to go ahead and mention it because if you start seeing it, it will be easier tomorrow. Okay?
Yes.
Your goal today is, do you know how to write a ratio table? And do you know how to write your ratios? With a colon, with the word to, and as a fraction. And what is a fraction called? The value of a ratio. Okay, so we are going to be moving quickly now. This is that was just another way to visualize it. So let me skip. Write the ratio of the number of boys to the number of girls in our class. Now, do y'all see this where on your paper it says class ratios? Write the ratio of the number of boys to the number of girls in our class. Do y'all see that? We're still right below it on example 2. Okay? So here we go. Boys, stand up. Boys, stand up. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Sit down, boys. We have 8 boys. Girls, stand up. And we're going to count the teachers in the room as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Why did I put boys first?
Because that's what it said.
That it says boys to what? And that's part 2 part. But we still need to know about our whole. What's our whole?
17.
We got 17 people in this classroom right now. Okay? But what did it ask you to write the ratios as? Boys to girls. So my boys are 8 to 9. And then I write it as a value of a.
Ratio.
And then I write it with the
Word.
word. And guys, that's our lesson for today. That's what we're doing today. We're just going to keep on practicing so you know how to do it in a little bit. Okay? So we're about to move quickly. So please make sure you are up and at it and you are focusing. Hocus pocus.
Everybody focus.
We got this. All right. So again, if something happens, y'all can look back at your ratio table. I am not going to redraw that ratio table because you should already have it on your what? Paper. Okay? So we're right here. Do you see where we are right now?
Yes, ma'am.
It says write the ratio of the number of girls to the number of boys. Write the ratio of the number of girls to the number of boys. Well, look at your ratio table. What did we say we had for girls? 9. What did we say for boys?
8.
8. So what did they do with the parts? All they did was switch it around. Is this hard? No, but order matters. If you do not write it in the correct order that it says, if you don't match your categories with your numbers, you don't match the parts with the numbers, it will be incorrect. Get it? Got it?
Good.
Okay, so 9 to 8, 9 over 8, and 9 to 8. Okay? So now, you see this on your paper. It's up at the top right. Record a ratio for each of the examples. What is it? Oh, I do have to press the eyeball. Thank you. So, you ready for this? We're going to be filling in this 1 through 6. And look at how they write your numbers, okay? Usually we go down, but they are going from across. Do y'all see how they're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? That's something that we need to pay attention to, okay? I will in just a second. So you traveled out of state this summer. If you went out of state, if you went out of Mississippi, raise your hand. If you went out of Mississippi this summer, and we already know that we had a total of 17 what? People. Okay? So if you went out of Mississippi, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay? That is 9 people out of how many? How many was in here?
17.
17. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So did it really tell us the order? No, we had to understand that the traveled out of state this summer. How many of you traveled out of state? We would write that as a fraction as 9 out of 17. Okay. Now moving on to the next question. You did not travel out of state this summer. Do we even have to raise our hand for that? No, think about, well, 9 did. What do I do with 17? Subtract 17 minus 9, and what do I get? 8 out of what? 17. Have you heard this language before? Yeah, with what? Yeah, with fractions, right? Okay, so again, ratios are. There we go. Okay. My next question, you have at least one sibling. That means you're not an only child. So raise your hand if you have siblings. Raise your hand if you have siblings. Everybody? Okay. So how many people's in here?
17.
17. So we're going to write 17 out of,
17.
and what do you think the next question is? Are you an only child? Did we have any? So what number are we going to use that shows no value?
0.
0 out of 17. And I'm just going to skip that question, okay? So, now, you got to be honest, and it's okay if you're, you know, you have to be honest. It's okay if you don't like math. I want honesty. Raise your hand if your favorite class is math. And it has to be truthful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 out of what? 17. So what do you think the next question is going to be that it doesn't list? Who doesn't like math? Okay. So what could I do? 17 minus 11 is 6. So our next question is who doesn't like math? And it's okay. It's 6 out of 17. Okay. Whose favorite class is not? That's what they would ask, okay? So 6 out of 17. Did you notice on the question 2, 4, 6, those questions, they were asking the opposite of what we first said, right? Did you know those are level 3 questions? Was it hard? No, it was asking about something that we did not have written. And what we had to do with 1, 3, and 5 was we had to subtract our part from our whole. So 17 minus 9, we found out it was 8. 17 minus 17, we find out it was 0. 17 minus what was 5? 11, we found out that it was 6. When you did that next step, that's level 3. So are level 3 questions hard? No. Hey, whoopsies. All right. So moving on. All right. So for time reasons, we are only going to do one of these. For time reasons, we're only going to do one of these. Get it? Got it? And everything that we don't do is not homework. Everything that we do not do, okay, is not for what?
Homework.
It's for extra practice, okay?
Yes.
Because I want to give you a lot of options to be able to have extra practice, okay? So that's why I say make sure you do. I do, we do, because if I ever have a note check, what we did right, you better have written down, okay? And I do note checks a lot, and that's for you to be able to get an easy 100 and the grade book, okay? So we're just going to do one of these. So using words, describe a ratio that represents each ratio below. Do you see how it says 1 to 12?
Yes,
I want to think of a scenario that deals and makes sense with 1 to 12, okay? Now, 1 to 12. You know how earlier we had a scenario about the soccer team and it only said there was 5 players? That was not something that made sense. We have to make sense with it. So think about any kind of scenario, 1 to 12. Yes, ma'am. Okay, 1 pencil to 12 pens. Some of y'all might have that in your book bag right now, right? Okay, so we can write that. I want to remind you that we can write the word too. So we can say that there are 1, oopsies, every time. I got to remember to hit the eyeball. All right, here we go. 1 pencil, I just want to change it up, for every, just a reminder, 1 pencil for every 12 what? Pens. I do. Do we have to make this story complicated? This is a relationship story. This is a ratio story. Do we have to tell a whole long drawn out story? No, I just want 1 pencil for every 12 pens. For every represents 2, represents a colon, represents a fraction bar. Okay? Now, thinking about that for every, earlier there was another scenario that I starred. Y'all remember the other one that I said we need to study? Times as many. Give yourself a 10 for your woo. Woo! And that's what we're going to write about next. Now, why do you think I wrote it for this one? Where's 1? Is 1 in the beginning? So, okay. So, 1 was at the end. So you can say there are 12 pins. Nope. Oh, no. That doesn't make sense. Back it up. 12 times as many pins. 12 times as many pins as what? Pencil. Do I have to put 1 pencil? Ooh, that took me a second to think about. So I just wanted to remind you that 12 times as many, so times as many is also representing a ratio. Okay? And 12 times as many pens as pencils means that pencils is representing what? 1. I do?
We do.
Okay, that is all for lesson 1. So everything you see on that front and even that back page, do you see where it says problem set on that paper on the back?
Yes, ma'am.
That's extra practice. Okay, so if your grown up wants to work with you on that, they can. Okay? Now, lesson 2 is other ways. So I need y'all to get to lesson 2. I need you to get to lesson 2. Repeat lesson 2, lesson 2, lesson 2, lesson 2. We are still gaining an understanding of what? Ratios. We're still gaining an understanding of ratios. There's different ways that they could show you these ratios. It could be on these graphs, okay? So this is the exploratory challenge. If you need help finding this page, raise your hand. Is everybody on this page? Okay. And this graph we are going to look at for number 2 as well. This graph is what we're going to look at for number 2 as well, okay? So we'll get there in just a second. Get it? Got it? Now, a t-shirt manufacturing company surveyed teenage girls on their favorite t-shirt color to guide the company's decisions about how many of each color t-shirt they should design and manufacture. The results of the survey are shown here. Well, how many red did we have?
1.
Ooh. Anyway, I do.
We do.
All right, so they have how many red? I do.
We do.
How many blue?
4.
How many green?
2.
How many white?
6.
How many pink?
5.
How many orange?
3.
And how many yellow?
4.
Now, one day they might change how much each X or each dot is worth. Okay?
Yes.
And I've seen them do that. They've said, oh, instead of this X representing 1 shirt, it represented 2, or it represented 10 or 5, okay? To infinity and
Beyond.
and that is called a legend. It's called a key. And y'all heard about that in science last year. You learned about that in 2nd grade. I remember teaching that. A key and a legend. It tells you how much each little X is worth. So did it say the X is worth anything here? No, so we would assume it's worth what? 1. So we have 1 red, 4 blue, 2 green, 7 white, 5 pink, 3 orange, 4 yellow. Y'all do have that written down, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Because when I go to the next one, I'm getting rid of that. Okay, so describe a ratio relationship in the context of this survey for which the ratio is 3 to 5. What do we have that is 3 to 5?
Orange and 5 pink.
It'd be orange to what?
Pink. Pink.
Pink. So this is what we would say. 3. Nope, that's not what we would say. Give me a second. 3 orange. And what is it? What is this about? T what?
T-shirt.
T-shirts. 3 orange T-shirts. 2 what?
2. 5.
5 what?
Pink t-shirt.
Pink T-shirts. What you just did was a ratio story, which is called a ratio relationship. Did we do it in the order that it wanted?
Yes, we do.
We did it 3, 2, 5. And it just wanted to know what's the ratio relationship. What's the story? It's 3 orange T-shirts to 5 pink T-shirts. That's the story. That's the relationship. Okay? So looking at 2, they just want to see if you know the order of everything. Now before we begin, what is something that they could have asked that they did not tell us on this table? They told us all about the parts of T-shirts, the categories of T-shirts. They said we got 1 red, 4 blue, 2 green, blah, 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 blah. What is something that they did not tell us that you think we might have to find out? We know our parts, but we need to know our total. We need to know our whole. So before we begin, there's a reason why I'm saying this. I want you to write down the total by that graph. So go count all your X's. Go count all those X's and tell me what the total is, or add up the numbers that we already have there. Okay, what did y'all get? 26. So please write that down before we move on. Please write that down before we move what? On. So this is where we're at. We are going to write down a ratio for the descriptions here by exactly what they tell us. Order what? Matters. Order what?
Matters.
For every 7 white T-shirts, they should manufacture 4 yellow T-shirts. What is the ratio, the number of white to yellow? That's your order that you write. What is white to yellow? All right, guys, what is white to yellow?
6.
So write that down. Can you write it as a fraction? Okay. Can you write it as a, you can write it as a colon, right? And if we look in these boxes, I would say writing it as a colon might be easier because of the room. Do you really have a lot of room to write it as a fraction? Okay, so now my next one, for every 4 yellow T-shirts they manufacture, they should manufacture 7 white T-shirts. The ratio, the number of yellow to white. Do you see how I'm underlining and circling the part to the part? You need to do that. On Mastery Connect, when we start taking computer tests, you need to highlight that part. You need to highlight the word to. You need to highlight the other part, or if it's a whole, okay? So what is yellow to white?
4 to 6.
What did they do between the first option and the second option? Are they both still part to part? Yes, but remember, order matters. All right, the ratio of the numbers of girls who liked a white T-shirt best to the number of girls who liked a colored T-shirt. Everything except what color? White. Okay, so first of all, what's the white T-shirt? What's the amount? 7. Now, are you going to count white? No, but you're going to count every other color. So count with me. 1, 2, 3, 5. Help me. 6, 7.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
So it's going to be 7 to what? 19. Finish out the rest of these. Get it? Got it?
Good.
I will give you a hint. This word here is like saying times as many. For each is like saying what? Times as many. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So what number is important with times as many? And for each. If they don't tell you another number, the number is always going to be 1. If they don't tell you that other part, it's going to be 1. And a lot of you are like, but I can see that red is what? Yeah. But one day they might not have it there. And you have to be like, oh, it didn't tell me a number. Well, it means it's 1. Get it? Got it?
Good.
One more minute. One more minute. So you should have the rest of this table completed. Okay. We are almost done. All right, here we go. So they should purchase, nope, wrong one. For each red t-shirt they manufacture, they should manufacture 4 blue t-shirts. The ratio, the number of red t-shirts to the number of blue. So the number of red to the number of blue is 1 to what? 4. They should purchase 4 bolts of yellow fabric for every 3 bolts of orange fabric. The ratio, the number of yellow to orange is
4 to 3.
4 to 3. The ratio of the number of girls who would choose blue or green as their favorite to the number of girls, so 2, the number of girls who would choose pink or red. How much is blue and green? And how much is pink or red? So 6 to 6, so it's even amount, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then 3 out of. Guys, when they say 3 out of, what did out of mean in 3rd grade? That was your fraction bar. That was your fraction what?
4.
Okay, so 3 out of 26 shirts they manufacture should be orange. So that means 3 is what category? What color is 3? Orange. So the ratio of the number of orange to the total is, good job, 3 to what? Good. What's this hard? No, and this is how it will be on your test. Your first ratio test, okay? You have to know the order. Order what?
Matters.
Matters. Yes. Which one is it? Let's see. For every 26. Because it's total. You're still cool. It's okay. No, I'm glad that was said. The reason why is 26 is still your what? Total. What is the total amount of what? T-shirts. So if we put 23, are we talking about the total? Nope, we left out the orange, and orange is a part of the total. And where you might be getting that mixed up in is when we did the white t-shirt. It wanted us in that wording, it wanted us to take out that white t-shirt, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so anytime it says total, don't forget to count whatever category that part is as the total. So it is 3 to 26. So I'm glad you brought that up, because usually that is a most missed question answer. They like to do that, and it's just a common mistake, it's a common misconception. Remember, in math we all make what?
Mistakes.
So y'all are awesome. Okay, so here to this page, does everybody see that? It's going to be on the very back of the packet. It's going to be on the very back of the what? Packet. It says lesson summary. And you had another lesson summary. It was describing what ratios were, and it pretty much repeats itself. And that's why I'm just focused on this one. So our lesson summary to complete everything today. Ratios can be written 2 ways. That's not true. Ratios can be written what? 3 ways. We learned with the word 2 as a colon and then as a fraction. I do. And what did we also learn that a fraction is called? The value of a ratio. And I want to make sure before I move on from this is value of a ratio. Value is how much that ratio is worth. Value, think about money. How much is it worth? What is the value of it? So if you see a penny, what is the value of a penny? 1. So if you're ever asked, hey, what's the value of this ratio 2 to 3? We're back to 2 cats, 3 dogs. What is the value of 2 cats to 3 dogs? What is the value of that ratio? 2/3, right? 2 out of 3. Okay? So 3 ways with the word 2 as a colon and a fraction. Fraction is called the value of a ratio. We describe ratio relationships with words such as 2 for each, for every, and there was one more, times as many. Anytime you see for each, for every, times as many, if it only shows you one number, like 12, you remember when we made our own earlier? 12, what was the other number? 1. If it didn't have it listed there, if it only had one number there, obviously the other number is going to be 1. And that is something that is most commonly forgotten is, Miss Jones, tell me my other part. The other part's going to be 1. It doesn't tell you your other part. The other part will be 1. And then the last thing, the ratio A to B is not the same as B to A because order matters. And if you do not put it in that correct order, even though they're still part to part, if you do not put it in that correct order, it will be wrong. Okay. Everything that we did not fill in today, and if your parents ask you, you have a lot of blank stuff on your paper. Is that true? Yes. What is that for? Extra practice. What is the only thing that you have for homework tonight? 1 through 4. And right now, you have 30 minutes to get it done. So you are going back to that 1 through 4. So go back to that paper and remember, ratio table is what you do first. What's your part, and what's your whole. And then write all 3 ways. Write it as a colon, write it as a fraction, and write it as with the word to. Get it? Got it?
Good.
Do we all know what we need to be doing? When we get done with this, what do you think you get back on? If you want to do that extra practice, you can if you need it. This is what your first test is going to be about. And I will let you know your test date. The reason why I wouldn't test this week would be because the STAR test is on what day? Which is Thursday. Okay? It's on what? We might have just a quiz that I take as a test grade on Friday. It just matters on what's going on that day. Get it? Got it?
Good.
All right. Everybody say bye.